introducing yourself.
Okay.
Because on Instagram, it's Lash with Loyalty.
Yes.
And so, who are you? What do you do?
I am Trinity. Literally, I have lived all sorts of places. So I say I'm Trinity from Tucson, Arizona, but I've lived in Seattle, Louisiana, West Virginia, Vegas. I've seen
How old are you?
things. 22.
Oh my God, and you've lived that many places?
Yes. Yeah.
Dude, holy crap.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's
I
awesome.
know.
So, well, tell us, what do you do? Like, what?
Yeah.
All
Oh my
that. You're in the hot seat now, Trinity.
So June will be 5 years of me being in the lash industry. I started as a lash artist. I went on to trainings, started my product line, and now I own my space on Speedway. This recent February was 1 year. This June will be 5 years in the industry. So
5 years total you've been doing lashes. 1 full year you've been in your space.
Yes.
Dang, man, and at 22 years old, and you have a product line.
Yes.
I literally have so many questions for you, because I could see, like,
Please.
there's so many people who would look at somebody like you and say, oh my gosh, it sort of happened pretty fast, would you say?
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
I think, I think time in itself just goes by so fast. But yeah, when I really look back at it, just kind of how things started, if I'm being completely honest, I literally hated lashes at first.
That's so funny. That is hysterical.
Hard. It was hard. And I think I was 17 when I first started. So, my brain, I don't even think my brain is still fully developed, but like I didn't really know what was to come with it. And yeah, I feel like I just like woke up one day and I was just like, oh my God.
Where'd you go to high school? Did you do high school here?
Freshman year I was in West Virginia.
Okay.
Sophomore year I was in Sahuarita at Walden Grove. And then
Oh my gosh, my friend Crystal when did you graduate?
I graduated 2020, but I finished
okay.
junior and senior year at Mountain View.
Oh,
So
dang,
even when I was
you
back,
hopped around a
oh my
lot
gosh,
of.
yeah.
Is it just because you were just moving around? And
My dad was in the casino industry,
Oh,
so
very
he just has a
cool.
lot of good connections, and like anytime a new better job offer, we would jump on it. I hated it at the time. Every time we would move, it's like, okay, you're gonna go to college here, you're gonna like grow up here, and we were just always on the go, always. But looking back, I'm thankful, because it pushed me out of my comfort zone in a sense, and like culture, and I'm a foodie, so like just even like the different foods, oh my gosh. So it was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, you look back and you're like, I've seen so many different places, and I'm so early on in my life.
Yes.
Like, there's people that are older than you who have never even seen that many places.
Yes, I'm like, please, like, leave your hometown at least once.
Oh my gosh. I keep telling my husband that. I'm like, we've been here our whole lives. We have 2 kids now, and we've literally never left Tucson. And there's a part of me that's like, it would be so important to eventually push myself outside of my comfort zone and experience a new place, but it is freaking scary.
And it's a mental thing, but I like everything, right? But it's like once you're there and you get a taste of just like new scene, and like I feel like it's so motivating. I couldn't imagine now, though I think it's a little bit harder to move. Like,
that's what I was gonna say. Now that you're in your adulthood, and you have kids.
I do. I have one.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, will be 2 next month.
Oh, congratulations. That's so awesome.
Thank you.
How was it being a mom and a business owner? Because so you were a business owner for, before you had your...
Yeah. So I got... Did I get pregnant at 19? I think... No, I'm
like,
pregnant.
me too, girl.
Yeah. I actually just turned 20.
Yes.
I got pregnant at 20. Had him still when I was 20. And that truly lit the fire under my ass. I think I'm very different than like a lot of people in my families. Like even just like, I don't know that I want to send him to public school, and like it's kind of like a weird little
little taboo topic at Thanksgiving. You're like, well,
yeah, I'm like,
I'm kind of exploring the homeschooling. They're like, homeschooling.
Yeah, you're like, oh my God, he needs to be socialized. I'm like, of course, yes, But yeah, just really being able to like have that freedom in itself of like just being with him, when he was first born, we had to take him back to the hospital. He was like 5 days old. And that just like literally rocked my whole world. I always knew who God was, right? But like that did it for me. So being a parent definitely lit the fire under my ass, and it also brought me so much closer to God, which I feel like is literally why I'm here.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's amazing. Do you feel like your relationship with God really translates in your business too?
Absolutely.
I mean, I think that is my favorite question to ask, because even like I don't have employees or anything like that. Yeah. Do you have employees?
I have one. She's part-time, but after June she'll be leaving to kind of take care of her own stuff.
But like having your space, being responsible for so much more than you ever were, and you're a parent, and it's like you need God.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Like you really do. There's days where I'm like, am I going crazy? Or you know, that's who I lean on all the time.
He keeps me grounded, and I feel like it's one of those things where, like, you know, being in the beauty industry, we're all mostly women, right? And I try to be very tasteful with like just how much I share, you know, and just kind of like, even I snuck a little scripture on my packaging, and so like when I do my trainings, yes.
Oh, I love that.
Yes, and it's very low key, but it's there, you know. And again, I don't ever want to be that person who's like stuffing it
Bible
down
thumping,
people's.
like just like
because the last thing
you're a seed planter. You're not there to like hose people down. I'm here to introduce you to God. And it's like what makes you credible is the way that you live your life. People can look at you and how you're blessed and be like, oh, okay. It's like that's yes.
And I've had people tell me like, oh my gosh, like I was praying, and you know, there's lots of us who offer courses here, and I can't tell you how many girls, ladies, women have told me, like, even just seeing the scripture on my packaging, they're like, this was meant to be, like, you were meant to be. Dang. And that is everything for me. You know, really cool. The lashes and the connection of that is just a plus, but the relationships that I feel like God is bringing is what literally keeps me going.
Dang, that's cool, because I feel like too we're in such a vain industry. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And then you think like, even like with my podcast, I always like think like, how can I plant more seeds? You know what I mean? The way that he wants me to, but also not try to fire hose it down people's throats, you know? Yeah. I love that you put it on your packaging, man. I think that is so brilliant, and I think that that's something God is really going to honor. Yeah. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, I love it. It's
so special.
It's me, you know, and just even the brand in itself, you know, Lashed with loyalty. I am a Leo, so I do take pride in my loyalty, you know, to an extent, but ultimately it's like being loyal to him and doing what I'm called to do through him and reaching the people I'm meant to reach. Dang. All through him.
That's perfect. That is so perfect. Did you go to beauty school here?
I went to Pure Aesthetics.
Oh, great. Yeah. That's so awesome.
That was, oh my gosh. I took my first lash course June of 2020, and I enrolled October 2020.
That's amazing. Were you between schools? Like, is that the only one you looked at here, or did you look at other schools?
Honestly, I didn't really explore as much as I should have. At that time, I'm still more like into all the natural, you know, type of things. But I do feel like that is what really drew me in. I think school is a stepping stone, you know. Ultimately, I was there to get my license. That's
what I was going to ask you. Like, if there's somebody watching right now who's like, I really want to do what Trinity is doing, where do you think a good place for them to start would be? Would you say beauty school, or would you say, because I don't know, do lashes require beauty school?
It's different now.
Okay. It's different now. That's what I didn't know.
Yeah, so back then, that's why I went to get my license, but now, the state board introduced what's called like their board approved training programs. So it's just solely for lashes. That's the only thing you can't do, like lash lift, brow lambs, none of that. But if you're someone who's interested in solely doing lash extensions, take a board-approved training program. It's 30 hours. You get your certificate, and it's literally like 100% approval odds. So guaranteed to get licensed.
Is a board-approved... What is that? Board-approved certification program, or what is it?
Board-approved training program.
Board-approved training program. Is that through, like, the State Board of Cosmetology, or are different, like, could you be considered
I am, yes.
Okay, that's perfect.
So essentially, yes, it's through the State Board. It's like an application process. They have to approve you, but yeah, so.
I had no clue. Okay, so when you introduced your academy, you basically like applied to be one of these board certified. That's amazing.
I know.
That is so cool.
I feel like really changed the game, because I think a lot of people were going to esthetician school just to do lashes, and it's not cheap, right? And it takes a lot of time.
Like, unless you plan on doing facials and doing like other things, but if you solely just like want to do lashes, you are an academy that people can go to and obtain their 30 hours.
Yes.
That is
and
really
then the products.
Cool.
So I always offer my students, they get lifetime discount on products, and just the mentorship above all. So it completely changed the game.
That's really, really cool. Yeah. So who's a mentor for you then? Like who? Because this is a lot. This is a lot to juggle, a lot to think about. And so how are you juggling it, number one? And then who's kind of like helping you, mentoring you through and teaching you how to juggle everything?
Oh my gosh, I'm going to be so honest. I feel like
you're like ChatGPT. Yeah. I'm going to be so honest with you right now. ChatGPT.
Oh my gosh. Quite honestly, I'm the type of person, I will learn as I go. Like, I will not sit and wait. I took my first training with Mish Aesthetics, and I look up to her so much. So at the time I took my training, she was here in Tucson, and now she's in California. This girl owns like multiple salons, a super successful product line, like mom of 2, now gonna be 3. She's doing the damn thing. So shout out to Mish. I love her so much. Lana Lashes is also another person I look up to a lot. She has really started to speak out about her faith, which I absolutely love, because it's a bold thing these days, you know, and like once you step into that identity, it's an identity, you know, it's something that you completely take on. And so I would say ultimately those 2 women right there, I look up to so much.
That is hard to do. Step into like, it's one thing to be like, I believe in God, and then just have like your you know, time with him and all of that, but to bring it into your business, and in a business where our paycheck depends on people liking us. It's hard. It's scary. Have you ever lost a client because of it?
Thankfully, no.
Okay, good.
Thankfully, no.
That's great.
Yeah.
They're like, she believes in Jesus. I'm out of here.
Yeah. I'm like,
out of here. Okay. You're like, see ya.
I'll still pray for you. But
I'll still pray for you.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, thankfully, no. I feel like I'm very blessed with the connections that I make, and I do believe it's all
what's for you is for you.
Absolutely.
Man, that is so great.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into owning your own business. Like, how did that happen? How did you find your space? How did you go about creating your business plan?
Yeah.
Like, how did it all flourish for you?
I love this question, because I promise you, I did not follow a blueprint. I had Leo in June.
Your baby's name is Leo.
He's Leo.
Oh my gosh! So is it because you're a Leo, or just you like the name Leo?
And well, it's the Leo in me, right? His dad's government name is Leonard, but he goes by Lenny, so it's Leonard. So he's like the perfect little piece of both of us. So
I love when people say just government
Leo.
name.
Yeah. So official.
Why are you calling me by my government name right now?
I know he hates that name, but it's besides the point.
I think it's cool.
But I was 2 months postpartum. I had all of my inventory at the time at home, and honestly, I think I was just ready, like, for a switch. I love adrenaline. So, like, I literally wanted to be a NASCAR driver. So,
oh my gosh, so cool.
I think what it is like the risk. I find it so fun,
thrilling.
You know? And again, I think too, I'm the type of person, like, there's no other option, you know, this is it, and I'm going to make it work, and period. So I literally just Googled industrial spaces in Tucson. I went on like loopnet.com
yes,
or something. I was just looking.
That's how I found this one. That's so funny.
And you'd be surprised, like, it's easier than people would think, you know. I think a lot of people go into it with fear, which is normal, you know. But I literally called the landlord, and they're like, okay, we're gonna need bank statements, we're gonna need this. And I told her, I was like, well, I'm gonna be honest, I was like, I don't have like tens of thousands of dollars in my bank account. I was like, however, like, I will put my deposit down cash and give you my word. That's like the best I can do. And she went for it.
Really?
She went for it. So that was in October. Yeah. I went and viewed the space, signed my lease, got my keys December. Contractors were still working through to like February. And then I opened. Like, it really happened so fast.
That is so good. And how involved were you in the build-out? Like, was there a huge build-out?
There wasn't much options, no. I knew that I wanted an open floor plan. I literally built out, like, a wall, like an 8x8 wall that sits behind my front desk. And then a room in the back for all of my inventory. Okay. Which that alone was like $5,000. So I was like, and done.
They be nickel and diming you. Nope. Yep. It's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the
I was
truth.
like, oh my gosh. And so it happened really fast. Granted, you know, I am still slowly adding to the space. You know, I just put up more product shelves, probably like I say I put them up, but I had someone put them.
You're like, yoo-hoo, nerd.
Yeah. And just trying to build on what I have, you know, and enjoying the process. I knew that, like, if I wanted it perfect and complete, it really would have, like, set me back a long time. So kind of sacrificing the vision for a little bit, you know.
So what you're saying is, like, you opened and started business in that space before it was fully complete.
Yes.
Because you were like, I need to, like, get going with this. It can't be all about aesthetics. Like, I got to get back to work.
Yeah. Okay. And so at first, actually, I was doing booth rentals, and yeah, it was super interesting.
Like, you were booth renting yourself, or you're saying you were collecting rentals?
Yeah. I was like bringing in lash artists, technically independent contractors. It wasn't commission, just your monthly rent. I was too relaxed. I didn't do like contracts. Everything was kind of just like verbal over the phone, and that was it, you know. So I thank God that there was like no drama or anything. Everyone did kind of slowly phase out, which was really nerve-wracking at first, because, you know, in my mind I had that vision of like, okay, I'm gonna have these girls working, and essentially like that was going to be my source of income. And I will say it did keep me from being able to like go all in my trainings. What kept just like the open floor, like the layout.
Yes, because your schedule, you had to consider other people's schedules in order to,
and so many like different moving pieces, you know. And then that was actually before they did the board approved training program. So I would say maybe like 6 months in, everyone was gone, and I was kind of just like, oh my God, shit. I have this space.
Double shit.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I swear God's timing is perfect. They introduced the board approved training programs. That was a little process in itself of getting approved and everything. And once that ball kind of got rolling, I moved all of my inventory into the back room. Well, I was actually stuffed in the back room with my inventory, with all the cleaning stuff. I called it my little like janitor's closet, and I just
your little
the room.
Cubby. Yep.
Yeah. And so I was able to move out of there. I had a little bit extra space to work with, and now my open floor, I do still have beds, but now they're beds for my students. So I do both group and one-on-one. So I was still able to kind of keep the same layout, but But now instead of like renting it out, it's all for my students.
So now, instead of you being a place where other beauty industry professionals can rent from, now you're a full-on academy and you're teaching.
Yes.
That is really incredible.
Yeah. It's been a shift.
Yeah, because that wasn't your original invisible make-believe blueprint. You know, that didn't happen. But like in your head, you were like, okay, this is going to be my business plan.
Yeah. So I literally say I'm a chameleon. I adapt.
You'll adapt, yeah.
And you have to.
Well, and I like that you were like, okay, God kind of was like, okay, here we go, perfect timing. Which, how did you find out about all of that? Like, how did you know, like, did somebody tell you or did...
I think it was a lot of talk. I know that, like, I'm, like, bored of cosmetology. If you're watching this, don't hate me, but
don't hate me.
Sometimes they're not the most organized. And so it was a lot of speculation at first. So like it was like a waiting game, you know, and then finally they pulled the trigger and they did it. And so I just remember like constantly checking their website to see like when they would update it, and it came through. Submitted my application, got approved within like a week, and I didn't even know. I was approved for weeks and had no clue. I didn't get like a letter, an email, nothing. A friend of mine told me, because she was doing the same process as well. She's like, you're on there. And I was like, what?
Oh my gosh.
And so yeah, it happened.
It made you feel
fast.
so legitimate.
Yeah, just seeing my name on there, I was like, okay, this is what we're doing.
So how many, okay, so then your social media, probably your tactics like completely shift, right? Because now you're like, you're still taking clients, correct?
Actually, I don't take clients anymore.
So, okay, see, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so your the way that you lay everything out on your social, the way you advertise is it's now all about the academy, all about your product line.
Absolutely.
You're just trying to get clients.
Yes, clients and customers. Yeah.
Is that the only way that you're reaching people is through social media, or are you kind of like doing a little bit of guerrilla marketing, a little bit like how are you getting your students?
Primarily, yeah. I feel like Instagram, everyone is on it. You know, I would love to be the person to like go out and like talk to people. I think I get a little anxious. So I do find that through Instagram, it's been the most, I guess, like easier route to go, you know.
Are you like connecting with beauty schools and like letting them know like, hey, your students can like reach out to me if they, or like, can I come talk at your beauty school?
Yeah,
or
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I know the school that I went to, they kind of they have their own, and I find that's what they're doing is like they're just bringing in educators, so ultimately so they can get their own, which I absolutely get, you know. So it is a little hard to connect those two.
Yeah.
But as far as like a career fair, I have yet to, but I would love to.
About how many students are you taking in like per month? And is it like a monthly, can they get the 30 hours within that month?
Yeah. So I kind of shifted how I was doing it. I used to offer classes every month, which I find I was just getting very drained.
That was good. That's what I was saying. I'm like, so how are we? Yeah.
So I went from doing every month to bi-monthly. I do one group and one one-on-one, which I have found works really well. Recently, I've kind of slowed down on marketing it. My son was just in the hospital for like super bizarre, but I've slowed down a lot. But in total, I've trained over 60 girls so far.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
That is so good.
It's
fulfilling.
Crazy.
You're probably like, whoa, I didn't even realize that this was going to be my life.
Yeah. No, oh my gosh, I'm just filled with just the love and gratitude and you know, the push to keep going and reach new people. I would love to travel and educate. I would say that's definitely something that's on my list of to do. Especially being that like I've lived different places, you know, I think that's definitely an advantage.
100%.
So yeah.
What places like on the top of your mind, like, oh my gosh, I would love to go there?
So I lived in Seattle literally for like 5 months, but it was so beautiful. I would love to go back at some point, whether I live there or like I said, I think if I get my like little I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like maybe not move, but like if I have the opportunity to travel, I think that'll kind of ease that like want to. Definitely Seattle. I would love to go to California, of course. I feel like,
man. I don't know.
Right, lots
California.
of opportunity.
Yep.
Gosh, anywhere really. I'm
You're open. You're like
out of the country.
Yeah,
but
that's scary. I know.
In the States, yes, absolutely.
So cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the pivot into your product line. How did you know that you were ready to do something like that, and how did you even go about it? Like, what was the starting point?
Yeah. So honestly, at that time, I was like really, I wasn't super religious at the time. I was like really into like that like new age spirituality, crystals, manifesting.
Sorry, I'm not laughing.
No, you can laugh.
I'm laughing, but I'm not laughing.
Yeah. No. And literally, it was stupid TikTok during COVID. You just start seeing all these things. You know,
you are
like,
what you surround yourself
it
with.
It must work, right?
Yeah,
so, I think too, also just the belief of like, if someone else is doing it, like, why can't I? You know, honestly. And so, 2022 is when I first started training. When I was still doing lashes. So I was a consumer at that point, and it really just came down to like not being able to find good products consistently, you know? So trying different brands, and I would repeatedly buy, and ultimately like they would just be a little off, you know? And so I'm like, okay, if I want to share my knowledge and give these girls product recommendations, if I'm recommending products that aren't even working for me, like what kind of teacher am I, you know? So I started sampling, found a supplier. I mean, most suppliers are all from China or at least somewhere overseas. I began the sampling process. I got very lucky. With finding my supplier.
How long did it take you to do that?
I would say like 6 months
to test products and say like, okay, this is working, the retention is good, it's holding.
Yeah, so I started with trays. I didn't really get into like the adhesives and stuff because I was like, okay, that's a little scary
chemicals.
Yes, And so I just started with trays. I was also nervous to put myself out there because, you know, I'm like, you know, that kind of like self-doubt, like, am I good enough? Are people gonna buy? Are they gonna support? So I would just give them to my students and ultimately use them myself, literally for like a whole year, or maybe like a year and a half. And then, like I said, once I had my son, that was it. I was like, okay, we gotta do something. Yeah. And so, I launched my Shopify, right before Black Friday of 23. Yeah, I had him in June. Yeah, so
June what?
16th.
My birthday's June 10th.
My mom is June 10th. Oh my god, I'm surrounded by Geminis. Oh my gosh. How? Oh, you would love her too. Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh, that's amazing.
Geminis are fun.
Yes,
we're fun.
I'm telling you.
We get a bad rap, but no, don't believe what you heard about Geminis, everybody.
Oh my gosh. No, even just seeing like you through social media, it's all clicking.
You make sense. Now. You're like, okay, I get it.
Oh yeah. It's that Gemini energy.
I can't help it. It just shines right there.
But yeah, so I had him June. And then, by October, November, I launched my Shopify. And
so you sold the trays through Shopify?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
At first, I think I did like through DM or...
Okay.
Oh my gosh. I have the worst memory too because I feel like I'm just doing everything at once. So I think I was doing it through DM, and then I would just have girls either Zell me or I think maybe I did have my Shopify started, but I wasn't like really out there.
Yeah.
It was a mix of both.
Okay.
But officially like launched and out there to the world, was like September to November of 23.
That is so cool. Yeah. And then once that happened, then you started introducing the chemicals and the cleansers and stuff like that. Yeah. How did that process go? Like, did you test? Like,
absolutely.
That's what I'm so curious about is like testing the adhesive. Like, are they sending you a list of chemicals, or are they just sending you, like, how does that work?
So I think it can either go one of both ways. If you're someone who's in it,
into
as
the
you should be,
in a molecular level, like the science behind the ingredients.
What is this ingredient? Why do I need this? How much is in this adhesive? Yeah, it's something that I found you have to request, because I think a lot of the times too, suppliers, it's a business, right? So if they're like, well, they're not asking, and she wants 50 bottles, here you go, right? But absolutely, yeah, I want to know, what am I selling? Do I need this? Do I not need this? You know, and especially because there's different skill ranges of lash artists. Some need something that's going to dry faster. Others maybe something a little slower. So ultimately being able to understand, you know, what ingredients and why, and what is that going to get you, right? So started with the trays, and then that's when I kind of dipped into like the adhesives, and also educating myself, you know, because as a lash artist and a consumer, I wasn't super familiar with all of the ingredients and chemicals. When I started 5 years ago, I mean, there's been a shift now, you know, to where like people should absolutely know, but I say back then, it was 5 years ago.
Time is so, I'm sure for you, because so much has happened, time is just like warped.
Yeah,
like.
oh my gosh, it is. But yeah, to be honest, whatever worked for me, you know, and that was really it. But once I got into like distributing my own product, it was a different ballgame. I'm like, I have to know what I'm selling, you know? And even just, even with the trays, you know, I mean, it's Korean PBT fibers, what it is, but even something as simple as like, I refuse to sell something that I don't 1,000% stand by.
Love yourself.
And believe in. Yeah, because for what, you know?
And Taylor uses your...
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. She did my lashes, and I don't know if you follow me. I'm training for an Ironman currently. Yeah. So I'm biking, I'm running, I'm swimming. Like, I'm putting goggles on but these lashes, I've never, okay, I've been in the beauty industry. I don't have lashes on right now, but I've been in the beauty industry for over 10 years. Okay, so like I've off and on gotten lashes throughout my entire career. These held up like I've never experienced before. So I will vouch, honestly, I've never experienced adhesive like yours before.
Oh my gosh.
I couldn't, like, I'm sweating, dude. I'm sweating. I'm getting in the pool. Like it's weathering all different conditions for me. So your adhesive is freaking bomb. And I love your cleanser too.
Thank you.
Taylor was like, careful, it comes out like first. And it did the first square. I was like, oh.
Oh my, that's happened. I need to like put a little note or something.
I love it though. I love the texture of it, and it's beautiful. The brush feels really good, and so yeah, I can say that I've experienced your products, and I really do like them. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that see that exactly right there. That's why I do it. I love it so much.
That's so cool. Do you is your mom in the beauty industry?
No, she does real estate.
Okay. I've seen her on Instagram.
Have you?
I think yes.
Oh my
I saw
gosh.
because then I was creeping you, and I was like, I wonder if her mom was in the beauty industry.
It's so funny because her and my tias, I think they like all went to beauty school.
Did they?
And
really?
they're all beauty school dropouts. So, you know, we sing that little song
beauty
for
school
them.
Dropout. Yeah.
But no, both my mom and dad do real estate.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What team are they? Are they their own team, or are they on a team?
My dad is in Los Angeles. I'm not too familiar with what company. Mm-hmm. My mom actually just made a switch to a new brokerage, so super, super excited for her. I oh my God, I'm not even going to try to say
You're like
JMG.
Okay.
JMG.
Okay. My husband's a loan officer, so I'm like awesome. I hear about the industry and
bits and pieces.
Little bits and pieces, and so I'm kind of in it too.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
Oh my gosh. It's I say, you know, I get my drive and my hustle from my mama.
You have to. Well, when you said she's a real estate agent, I was like, it's so not that they're the same, but it's the same level of hustle, like what you do and what she does. You guys really have to be out there. Have you ever like teamed up doing anything with your mom before? Like gone to events together?
I need to. I recently invested in like a really nice camera. So I told her, I was like, okay, Mom. I was like, we're going to start doing content.
You're like, lights, camera, action, Mom!
Yeah, because even too, like, gosh, content is everything these days, right? It's like almost no matter what industry you're in. And so I told her, I'm like, okay, you got to do this. You have to do this angle, or not the filters, or, you know, just like the little changes that I myself am learning. I'm trying to, you know, pass that along to her too. But yeah, I would love to team up in any way that we can, ultimately, you know.
How are you balancing social media? I feel like saying social media, using the term social media and balance within the same sentence is so like,
oh my gosh, I know.
Like, is there balance? I feel like when I'm really on my content and I'm posting weekly and or even daily, sometimes it's so it is a second job, and it just feels like I was working with somebody recently, and he was like, everything you do is content. And that really helped me in a way. But then it also kind of like, once you implement that, it sort of like steals your piece a little bit. Like you have to film everything you freaking do. I'm at the gym, and like, I feel like some old person catches me and I'm like, yeah, you know what? You didn't grow up in this time, okay? Wouldn't it suck?
Different now.
You don't get it. Like, I have to film everything I do. Do you feel like you're chained to social media in a way? And like, how do you balance it?
Yeah. In a sense, absolutely. I go through like my waves of like, I will post every day for a week, and then it's like I'm ghost for 2 weeks.
That was me this week. I'm like, I'm a ghost.
It's hard. It's very hard, and especially like I do agree with like everything is content. However, I try not to carry it too much to where I'm like, I want to be as authentic as possible, right? So if I'm feeling drained, if I'm tired, if it's an off day, like I won't film, you know, just because I don't want to like put on this little like, you know, if I'm not feeling it, I'm not feeling it. And I think that's okay. But definitely I need to get more into like scheduling my posts, I think, which helps a lot, so that you're not every day trying to find something, you know. I feel like if you batch everything and schedule it out, I think that's kind of like the missing puzzle piece. Because who wants to film every day, you know? Something I've kind of transitioned in my mind too is like not being a content creator, or like not even a content creator, not being an influencer, but being a key person of influence, right? Those are like two separate things.
Yeah, go in more with that.
So I feel like I've heard people say like being an influencer, like it's kind of like a narcissistic thing, right?
Yes.
Like you're,
oh my gosh,
is.
Thank you. That's why I hate it. Yes,
absolutely. Yeah, and so shifting from that mindset of like, I know everything.
Yeah, like, yes.
And you're posting really without value or reason, you know, and making that shift of like being intentional with what you're doing, what you're posting, why are you posting it, you know. What is the meaning? Is this of value to people? And that's ultimately how you kind of gain that trust, you know, because I think especially like being an educator, like you have to build some sort of trust, even through the phone, if for people to even message you and inquire about wanting to train with you, or even just as simple as, you know, gaining a client, you know, it's ultimately it's about trust. And so just being more intentional with what I'm posting and, you know, the true meaning and value in it. Because content can be draining for sure. But I also think it's like, okay, look at what you're posting.
Yeah.
Why is it draining you, you know?
Oh my gosh, that is so good.
So
that is
just
so
that
good.
Little shift.
Yes.
That little shift in perspective really like kind of did it for me, and that's why I'm okay with not posting every day, because I don't have to. I know that when I post, it's gonna pack a punch.
It's gonna help somebody. What's my intention behind this? Am I trying to just post something just to post because then that's draining? But am I doing it because I feel like I have to like stay relevant,
right?
Or am I teaching somebody something? Am I impacting them? Am I hoping that I can reach them in a different kind of a way.
Right.
Yeah, that is so good. You're like,
thank you.
Thank you.
It really shifted it for me. So
that's really cool.
I may not post every day, but that's why.
Are you using the new camera that you purchased to film your content, or do you have a videographer? Like, have you hired somebody to come in, batch the content, and then chop it up into different clips?
Yeah, so I did a branding shoot early March. With a very, very special friend of mine, Lyle. He is located, I want to say Tempe.
His name is Lyle?
Lyle.
Such a cool name.
I love him so much. So hired him. We batched some content. We also filmed a little special something.
Ooh, that was going to be I had a question about secret things coming up.
We'll get there.
Okay.
That was really the first time I've like hired someone to do content, which was a learning experience for myself. You know, I do find like I'm trying to find my voice and like how I want things, and even down to just like the angle. Like, you know your angles, and you're paying a pretty penny, you know.
Yes.
So you want it just done like how you like it. And so overall it was an amazing experience. I will say, like, I'm very, I can do it all on my own, you know?
Yeah,
so that was an experience, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a camera, and I'm gonna start doing it, you know? Because I can't have him down here every weekend to film whatever it is that comes to mind.
your mind, yeah.
Because trends and things are ever so changing. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna invest in a camera. That way too I could do my own product pictures. You know, I was outsourcing for a bit, but I'm like, okay, like, you know, I have some free time, you know, how can I just kind of dip my toes in the water and start doing this myself, which I think does ultimately make it more fun and like enticing, you know?
Yeah.
So I do film a good amount of my content on my camera. I'm the worst at charging it, so I'll like get ready.
You're like, I have an idea, and you're like, damn it, it's dead.
Oh my gosh. Or like forgetting the SIM card, or you know, I'm all over the place sometimes. So
oh god, dude, you're carrying so much.
Yeah, so I'm like, sometimes the iPhone will do, you know. But it is fun, like setting up the camera on the tripod. And,
and you just got a new phone, I saw on your stories.
Yes, so
you're like,
I'm getting into it. I'm getting into it.
That is so good.
So I use what I have.
Good.
Yeah.
What is, if somebody was watching this right now and wanted to do what you're doing or embark on a journey similar to yours, what is the one piece of advice that you could give them that you would say is the most important thing?
Yeah, honestly, literally, like, cut off all of the outside noise. Cut off the outside noise. When I first started, I was 17. I just graduated, and everyone at that time was like, they wanted to go out and party, which nothing wrong with that, you know, but I do feel like in order for you to grow something, because starting a business is scary and it's going to take a lot of time. Like, you have to dial in. You have to really focus on what it is that you want. And again, just be intentional with what you're doing and your time, you know, like, you'd be quite surprised how much really free time we have in a day, you know. Replace the scrolling with, you know, even just sitting down and like journaling and just getting clear on what you want. So definitely like turn off outside noise, opinions, even your own outside noise, you know, like that self-doubt that likes to creep in. And, you know, I love writing things down because it's like once you see it on paper, I do feel like you get this like sense, like you get this feeling, you know?
Yes.
And you have to feed into that in that moment. Absolutely.
Dude, that is good. That's a really good piece of advice.
Thank you.
I love that.
It's been a learning process for sure, you know. But I do feel like if you have a vision, it's for a reason, you know.
God is planting it. That's what I always say, is like, especially if it's an idea that keeps coming up, you think about it, and then you push it aside like, oh, I don't know about that, and then it keeps coming up. That is so God.
Like, feel it in your bones.
Yes.
Yeah, so you gotta just dial in, you know. Even like 6 months goes by so fast, you know. And so like we only have a limited number of days and weekends, especially, you know, like if you're someone who is working a 9 to 5 right now and your weekends are truly your free time, like use that time intentionally. Yeah. You know, you can't go wrong. Yeah. You can't. Because time will pass you by.
Time will pass you by. You'll be in a time warp like this, girl.
Yeah.
Like, what day
Like,
is it?
what?
Hold on, wait. 5 years already?
I know. Yeah. Absolutely.
So before we wrap it up, is there anything that you want to share? Any, like, are you keeping your secrets to yourself right now? Or could you give us a little bit of a peek or a little?
I'm definitely open to share. So obviously I do teach people here in Arizona. Like I mentioned before, I would love to travel and train, but I do have a little baby right now. I say he's the baby, but I'm not as available right now. Yeah. So I will be coming out with an online course. And
oh my gosh!
That will be available to really anyone.
Yeah. I think that's the next natural step for you. And also to be able to put your feelers out, like what states are doing better, online, and because really then maybe you can start with that state. Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
I think too, even just like having the product is a blessing in itself too, because like I said, I want to be able to provide these girls with the best of the best. And so I'll give a little option, like if you buy the online course, if you want the kit, we'll mail it out to you. If you don't, you don't, you know, but at least you get all of the education. And, I think definitely being the board-approved training program definitely helps, just like that credibility. Yeah. But I am just so excited to really just venture outside of Arizona in any way that I can, so
that's
super
really
exciting.
Freaking cool. Yeah. Have you started filming?
Yes. So we have all clips. I really want to do like a brand, like a shoot for it, some sort of like little teaser, something. Like I have the vision. But yeah, it's literally all filmed. I have all the products.
Oh, wow. So you've been filming it and keeping it under wraps.
Since March.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That had to have been so hard. Like you're like, if I just get my phone, I could just do it.
Just quickly. Yeah, I know. Trust me, I've wanted to so bad, but I'm a very like private person,
That's good.
So I'm just like, I'd rather just do it than talk about it, when it's time to launch it, like we're launching.
Which, do you know when you're going to launch it?
Or I don't even have a launch date.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I try not to put too much stress on myself, and
that's good.
I try not to be too much of a perfectionist either, but I'm like, this is something I want to take my time with. And again, just be intentional and do the best that I can do. So no launch date yet, but definitely within the next couple months.
Thank you so much for being here with us today, and thank you for sharing all of that. It's been an honor. This information I know is going to help somebody out. So, I hope so. I really am grateful that you took the time to be here.
No, thank you for the opportunity and for reaching out, and your energy is just so good, and it was easy. I was nervous, but just you made it easy. So
good. When everyone said, like, they sit down, they're like, I'm so nervous. I'm like, don't even worry. Yeah. Don't worry. It's gonna be fine. So thank you.